Good evening. So happy to see you. I'm Leah Ruckberg, your host, and I'm happy to welcome you to Holidays, Best, Worst, and Most Memorable. All holidays are based around stories, and of course we tell those big archetypal stories over and over again. But equally important are those little stories that we tell around the dining room table, and sometimes just the stories that we share around circles of intimate friends. But all of these stories are a part of what makes us human. So tonight we're going to share our own specific memories around the holidays, and I think you're going to find something here that you can relate to as well. I met Richard Lunt about a dozen years ago when I was teaching a storytelling class at Writers and Books. And Richard came into my class already a retired history professor, so he was well versed in stories. But now he was telling stories about the gifts and foibles of family members and friends. And he is a natural. He's a watercolorist. His favorite subject is Cayuga Lake, where his wife Carmel has a cottage. He enjoys kayaking, swimming, birding, and octogenarian hikes. I'm with you there. And he's going to tell Happy Thanksgiving.
Is this going to work? Sure. Okay. I tell a story rather than read it, so I like to get this out of the way. The story that I'm going to be telling you, the events in it occurred 50 years ago. Just last month, one of the children in the story, Gwen, stopped by for a visit. I had not seen her for years. She rushed up to me, gave me a great big hug. Uncle Richard, do you remember that Thanksgiving when we came up to see you? Gwen, how could I forget? My first wife, Ruth, and I moved from an apartment on Park Avenue to Bellevue Drive, and we bought a house there, a lovely house. And Bellevue Drive is a S-shaped street that runs up from South Avenue, up a hill, into Highland Park. Since then, the city has dead-ended it in the middle. In early November, we invited Ruth's brother and his family to come up for Thanksgiving. Ruth's brother Herb and Ruth were very close. Herb was the big brother, and he was so sweet. He built her a 2-story dollhouse, playhouse, and in which Ruth served tea to her dolls. Herb was very bright, very able guy. When he was 16, he designed and built his own sailboat and then sailed it on Long Island Sound. He went to college, on to graduate school. I actually went twice. He has a graduate degree both in French and in civil engineering. Along the way, he acquired a wife and 6 children and a golden retriever dog. And the kids named her Surprise Goldie. Despite his many talents, Herb could not keep a job. And supporting his family was a major challenge. Now I want to go back in time. In the Second World War, he was drafted into the army. He was a pacifist, and he would not carry a weapon. So the army made him a medic. He was in the invasion of Normandy and in subsequent battles in France. That was the most searing experience of his life. Herb drove up to see us the day before Thanksgiving. He bought an old used school bus. He blacked out the letters so it was legal. The kids pasted decals of flowers on it. The engine was good, but the starter was iffy. Sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't work. He took no chances on the way up. He never turned off the engine, not for rest stops, and not for taking on diesel fuel. There was no room on Bellevue Drive to park this big school bus. But because there was a curve in the road, there was a wide area of grass between the sidewalk and the street, which would accommodate the bus. That Thanksgiving, it was very, very cold, and there were 6 inches of snow on the ground. Herb drove down Bellevue Drive, drove up over the curb and through the snow, and parked right in front of our house. Ruth and I ran out and greeted him. The kids ran into the house with Goldie after them. They loved that house. In the front hall, there was a curved staircase going up, and up they went. At the top of it, there was another staircase that went down to the kitchen. They went down, and then back up to the front, up and down, up and down, up and down, with Goldie in retreat. The kids discovered a small door in the hallway on the 2nd floor. What's that, Uncle Richard? It's a laundry chute. What's that? Well, you put your dirty laundry down there, and then it drops down, and then you take it out and put it in the washing machine. Can we see? Sure. So we go downstairs, and I open the door at the bottom and take out the dirty laundry, put it in a basket. It's looking, here, cool. In a few minutes, I hear all kinds of things dropping down. Marbles, stuffed toys, you name it. I thought I'd better investigate. So I went back upstairs into the hallway, and there was Artie. He had grabbed my cat, Louisa, and just about to drop her down. Stop, Artie, stop, let her go. Poor Louisa ran down to the basement and hid in the farthest corner. By 9 o'clock, we were exhausted, and we were ready for bed. But there weren't enough beds. 2 of the kids, well, we'll sleep together. And the others found a place to sleep wherever they could, on a couch, on the floor, wherever. Goldie spent the whole night roaming. She would sleep with one child for a while, and then move on to another child, and then to another child. I got up at 6 in the morning to prepare and stuff the turkey. At 8 o'clock, I put it in the oven. At 12 o'clock, I opened the oven door. Oh my God, I had put the turkey in upside down. I didn't tell anyone. Carefully moved the turkey to the counter. Carefully turned it over and placed it on the cutting board. After it had cooled a while and the other food was prepared, I carried it to the table. Served it out to everybody. It was the most delicious turkey any of us had ever had. It was so tender. It was so moist. Every Thanksgiving thereafter, I always put the turkey in the oven upside down. And my daughter continues the tradition. Herb's plan was to return the morning after Thanksgiving, well, around noontime actually. But on Thanksgiving night, he came up to me, Richard, I'm getting nervous. I don't know if I'm going to get out of here tomorrow morning. That starter, it's just unreliable. And the temperatures dropped down into the low teens. Well, when I got up in the morning, I thought I would help. I ran an extension cord from the house out to the school bus, plugged it into an electric frying pan. And for some reason, I thought it would help I poured in some peanut oil. After about a half hour, when the peanut oil was cooking well, the smell wafted throughout the whole neighborhood. My neighbor John came over. "Rich, what are you doing? Popping popcorn?" At 12 o'clock, Herb went out to start the school bus. Got in the driver's seat, put the key in the ignition, turned it, nothing. Try it again. Turn the key, nothing. He got out of the driver's seat, stepped down, got his tools, climbed in under the hood, did what mechanics do to engines, came down, got back in the seat of the bus, turned the key, nothing. One more time, turn the key, nothing. A neighbor, Tom, who had been watching, came up to her. "Herb, I've got a Jeep and I can tow you out of here. Would you like that?" "Oh, Tom, you saved my day." So Tom got his Jeep and he drove around and he got to the back of the bus and hooked up a chain. Then he started up his Jeep and pulled the bus out of the snow, over the curb, up the hill to the top of Bellevue Drive. He unhooked the chain. Now to start the bus would have to coast down the hill without slowing up and navigate 2 curves. Now there are about 20 neighbors coming out to watch. One of them went down to the end of Bellevue Drive to stop cars from coming out. Herb's wife Alice got in the bus, and the kids, and Goldie. Herb shifted into neutral, released the brake. The bus started to move slowly. And it began to gain some speed, and the kids started screaming, and the dog is barking away. They're coming into that first curve, and the bus is careening around that curve, and then it heads out of the curve. Herb shifts into 4th gear, and the engine actually responds. And then into the curve to the right, Herb actually got the engine to roar, rolling around that curve. When he hits the straightaway, he puts the accelerator to the floor, and the bus leans forward. And then the crowd is cheering, "Hooray, Herb! Hooray, Herb!" He gets to the end of Bellevue Drive, stops, turns the corner, we wave goodbye, and blow our kisses.
I told you he's a natural.